figures. Well, did you think it was very cold on Saturday night? Well, you were right. According to the National Weather Service in Pittsburgh, a record daily low temperature of 46 degrees for the date of June the 18th was set in Pittsburgh overnight on Saturday. It ties the old record of 46 degrees that was set back in 1879.
Here's the Beaver County forecast on 95.7 and 99.3 FM, along with 1230 WBVP, 1460 WMBA, and streaming at beavercountyradio.com.
Slight chance of morning showers will give way to cloudy skies today with a high of 74 degrees. Overnight tonight, cloudy, low down to 60. Tomorrow, sunny and hot, highs up to 93 degrees. Then for Wednesday, afternoon showers and thunderstorms. Some could be severe. It's going to be mostly sunny and hot. High's going to be up to 94 degrees. Thursday will be a little cooler with mostly sunny skies and a high of 84, but we're right back up on Friday with sunny skies and a high of 89 degrees. Our newscast this hour is being brought to you by the J&J Spratt Funeral Home located on 3rd Avenue in New Brighton. Now serving their 4th generation, where the roots go deep into your community. That is a look at the news for now. I'm Frank Sparks, Beaver County Radio News, 95.7 and 99.3 FM, presented by St. Barnabas, 1230 WBVP, 1460 WMBA, and beavercountyradio.com.
Now, it's time to talk on Teleforum on Beaver County Radio, 1230 WBVP, 1460 WMBA, 99.3 FM, and beavercountyradio.com. And now, here is the host of the show, Eddy Crow.
Yeah, because it's Monday, we're going to do Monday stuff. But we're not going to do Monday stuff yet. We're going to talk about what's coming up with the week, and we're going to talk about politics, and everybody's going to scream and yell at each other. But we're not going to do that yet. Hello, it's Teleforum. My name is Eddy Crow. What we're going to do first is we're going to talk to Sean. Oh, don't worry. No, you showed up wanting to get all bent out of shape and everything. We are going to talk about acts of physical violence. We are going to talk about that. Okay. My guest for this first hour, Sean Duguay. And you represent, I know, dude, you're past representing. You are known as Donny Donut, right?
Sir.
You're proud of that, aren't you?
I am.
Yeah. And you're here to talk about the Donny Donut project, and you're going to talk about fighting in the best possible way. All right. First things first. What is the Donny Donut project?
The Donny Donut project is a 501c3 organization that I founded on May 27th.
That means you get the org.
I have the org.
You get the .org.
I have the .org.
All right. You said a specific day. What was the day?
It was May 27th of 2020.
Okay. Why?
It was at the beginning of the pandemic,
Mm-hmm.
and I was watching everything that was going on in the country, all the division, all the negativity, all the hate, and I didn't see anybody stepping up to do anything positive to try and break that cycle of mental health, really.
Right.
And so on April 28th, I was actually at work in Leetsdale, and I was going over a wrestling gimmick with one of my coworkers. And
okay, now back up a second. You were going over a wrestling gimmick?
Yeah, this initially started out.
Is this at lunch? Is how you guys play?
No. We were actually, while we were working, we were talking, and I was coming up with a manager-type gimmick for Code Red Wrestling.
Your own Jimmy Hart kind of thing.
Kind of,
okay.
Yeah. And Donut was a nickname that I had when I was younger because I was heavy.
All right.
And Donnie just kind of went with it, so I went with Donny Donut. And at the end of the day, and whenever I said that, the guys started laughing at me. I'm like, you know what? I can do so much more with this.
Yeah.
So I come home, I took the razor, I shaved my head.
Okay.
I told my wife, I have somebody I need to introduce you to. So I kicked her out of the room. I got all changed. I threw on my jeans, my suspenders, my fedora, and I come out and I said, "Hi, I'm Donny Donut. I have a mission of 329 million smiles."
And at that point, did she file for divorce, or did you go to counseling? What happened then?
She actually looked at me. She started laughing. She's like, "Are you serious?" I think she was more upset that I shaved my head, but I was like, "I'm going bald."
So what's the point?
Right?
Yeah.
Get rid of it.
What was the point of creating Donny Donut? You mentioned wrestling. Is that something else going on? We're going to get to the fighting and boxing in a second. But
Oh, yeah. Wrestling is actually returning to Beaver County on July 31st at the Wright Automotive Fieldhouse.
Professional wrestling.
It is. Code Red Wrestling and the Donny Donut Project presents Code Red Wrestling Resurrection in Beaver County.
Okay, let's back up a second. I appreciate the fact that you saw somebody needed something. As a society, we needed something.
Yep.
How in your mind was this going to lead you to that? What was the process? Because you didn't just say, okay, I'm going to create a character and the world will be a better place.
Honestly, it all started on February 20th of 2020. I was, Friday morning, February 21st. I was at the end of my rope. I was going through some personal stuff.
Okay.
My family had lost our home here in New Brighton when my landlord pulled a gun on me trying to get our heat fixed.
Okay.
Yeah. So ultimately, the home was condemned, and it put me, my wife, and our 6 kids in a hotel.
6 kids.
Yes, sir. And I thought that my only out was to take my own life and collect the insurance money so they would be okay.
Mm-hmm.
And I ran out of gas in Hopewell, and I was walking back to my truck from the Sunoco, cursing God, but I was praying at the same time, asking if this is meant to be,
right,
give me a sign. And it wasn't a couple minutes later when Jared Boyer actually, from his perspective, I didn't see him, almost ran me over.
Okay.
And then I heard, "Yo, bro, do you need some help?" And I looked over, and I saw him sitting in his truck. And I said, and I looked up, and I said, "Thank you." And I said, "Yes." And I hopped in his truck, and I emotionally vomited all over a total stranger for 20 minutes.
Just literally a guy's offering you a ride, and he picked you up at the one time you needed to be picked up?
5:25 a.m.
5:30 in the morning.
Yeah.
Probably walking down from 5 Points?
No, I was actually walking in front of Dunkin' Donuts.
Now, did you take that as a sign, or was it too early to start thinking that way?
It was too early to start thinking that way.
Okay.
And then he picked me up, and when we got back to my truck, he asked me if he could pray with me. And I said, "You know what? That would be great." And he prayed with me, and then I got out of his truck, and he drove off after he gave me one of his cards. I put the gas in my truck, and I went to work a different way that day. And when I was working, I reached into my pocket to pull my phone out. It was break time, and his card fell out of my pocket. So I called him, and I said, "You have no idea how much this morning meant to me." And I asked him if I could come sit down with him and talk a little bit more. And he was real busy, but he cleared out some time that evening. And I went up, and we sat down for about 2 hours, and we talked. And it was like, wow, this is a connection. So he kind of refers to us now as Joshua and Caleb from the Old Testament.
For the people that don't know who you're talking about, he was Mike Romite's guest Friday.
Yes, sir.
Explain who you're talking about.
Jared Boyer is the founder of Premier Youth Community Center, and he is one of my mentors. Even though he's younger than me,
right,
he's somebody that I look up to. And he reintroduced me to Jesus, and I rededicated my life to Jesus on April 24th. Then 4 days later, I created Donny Donut. And Jared was, other than my wife, Jared was the first person I introduced to. On his birthday, on May 4th, I showed up to his apartment, and he come out, and he's like, "What's this?" I said, "Hi, how you doing? I'm Donny Donut. I heard you have a birthday today."
You do realize, as wonderful an act as he provided you, that had to freak him out a little bit, right?
He thought it was absolutely hilarious.
Okay, then you guys are two peas in a pod.
Absolutely.
Because if most people know somebody for 3 or 4 days because they gave them a ride, and then they show up at their house with a shaved head saying, I'm Donny Donut, that's going to be a little bit startling. What was the connection?
I think it was all God, man.
Yeah?
For real. It was all God that connected us. And our bond has only gotten tighter the last 2.5 years. We're actually going to be launching a podcast here in the very near future.
That's the Donny Donut podcast?
No, it's going to be, we haven't given it a name yet, but it's going to definitely be something to do with grip and scripture.
Okay. Sean Duguay is my guest. I'm just going to refer to you as Donny Donut. You cool with that?
Perfect. Absolutely.
Okay. We haven't even talked about the specifics of what's coming up at the end of this month. The Donny Donut Project, along with my friends at the Ambridge Police Department. It's called Cops versus Robbers.
That is correct.
How did you get... All right, explain what it is. People that have gone to jail are going to have boxing matches against law enforcement officials. That's as much as I know.
Well, it's not just guys that have been in jail. It's also community leaders. Jared is actually going to be boxing as well.
Okay.
Because honestly, I look at it like this. At the end of the day, we're all felons. Because at some point in our lives, we've done something that we could have been incarcerated for or gotten in trouble for. It's just,
Donnie,
I got caught.
If cell phones existed in the 80s, they'd have put me under the jail, dude.
Hey.
How freeing is that as a mentality? Because you walked in here, and for the people, this is being live streamed on our Facebook page. You've got a shirt. I love the shirt. It says Productive Felon.
Yep.
You want to talk a little bit about how you came up and got to the point you're so proud of wearing that shirt?
Well, it took 7.5 years of Department of Corrections.
Okay.
And about 5.5 years of county jail over from 2000 to 2012 when I come home.
You became part of the system.
Yeah.
Okay.
I became what everybody told me I would always be, a failure.
When did you stop buying into that? You didn't stop buying into it in time to stay not locked up. But obviously there was a point you said, you know what, all of that's wrong. All of this is wrong.
I come home in July of 2005. I was home for 299 days, and I violated my parole, and I went back. When I went back, it was May 19th of 2008. My best friend, who was also more like a brother to me, deployed to Afghanistan. And on June 3rd of that year, he lost half of his unit in an IED attack. And another of my closest friends, Robbie, got married on June 7th, and I was supposed to be a part of his wedding. I wasn't able to do that. March 9th of 2009, at 26-year-old, Robbie had an asthma attack, and he passed away. So those two really made me reevaluate myself. And looking back at taking accountability, because I had a problem. I was a narcissist. I didn't care who I hurt as long as I got what I wanted. And then it's like, I'm not here for this. I missed my sister's graduation. I missed the birth of all 3 of my own children because of decisions I made. A week before my oldest daughter was born, I got locked up on a drug charge for selling marijuana. When I went to prison on June 2nd of 2005, 5 days later, my son was born 13 weeks premature. They didn't think he was going to make it. I now have full custody of him. And then when I went back to prison in May of 2008, on August 6th, my youngest daughter was born. I never thought that I was going to have an opportunity to see a child be born. And on March 1st of 2019, my oldest daughter blessed me to be in the delivery room for my granddaughter. who just turned 3 in March. And today, I have to say happy birthday to my youngest daughter, Lorelai. She is 10 today. So all of our children are officially double digits.
What were the emotions like when you finally got to see a childbirth of your family? Did you flash back to the ones you missed, or was it just too beautiful a moment to turn away from mentally?
It was too beautiful of a moment because I didn't have that moment with the other 3. You know, I was in a cell, 6x8 cell while they were going through what they were going through, and I wasn't able to be there. And I listened to the lies that I was told for all the years. And, like I said, on October 18th of 2012, when I walked out of SCI Greensburg on parole, I was determined to show that people do change.
How scary was that? Because once you've walked a path long enough, for good or ill, much easier to stay on that path, especially if the path is uphill like it is when you're getting locked up. It's hard to turn around and head a different path.
Well, when you're incarcerated, your entire day is structured, especially in the Department of Corrections. My day started every morning at 5 a.m. with standing head count. It's between 6:40 and 7:15. We were let out to walk to the chow hall for breakfast. We had to return right back to the cell at 8:30. You either went to a job or you went to the yard or you sat on the block, whatever. My routine, it varied depending on my work schedule.
Sean Duguay is my guest. I'm sorry, Donny Donut is my guest. I'll have more. And like I said, this is being live Facebook streamed. Just go to our Facebook page. It's Beaver County Radio.
Gas prices keep going higher and higher, and your old car continues to break down more and more. What can you do? You can solve both problems with a fuel-efficient, reliable vehicle right now from the Beaver Valley Auto Mall. Over 250 vehicles await, many of which get over 30 miles per gallon on the highway. Click BeaverValleyCars.com and start spending less on gas and driving more reliable transportation today. Worry less about the price of gas and repairs and start enjoying your summer. It's what the smart people are doing. Visit Beaver Valley Auto Mall in Center Township. You can ask about a sharp-looking 2022 Hyundai Kona SUV that has an estimated highway mileage of 33 miles per gallon and a price tag of just over $30,000. What? An almost new SUV that gets super high mileage for a little over 30 grand? Are you kidding me? Go see for yourself at the Beaver Valley Auto Mall near the mall in Center Township. With over 75 years of combined experience, Jemay Financial is an independent financial advisory firm where they put client service first with a holistic, customized financial plan for every account, whether large or small. Jemay Financial will not sell you unnecessary strategies and products. The decisions that they make will be based on your goals and what you want to accomplish. Stop by and see them today at 1602 7th Avenue in Beaver Falls, or call them for a free consultation at 412-527-4701. Let's build your future together.
What is that weed in my field? Where can I get soil information and testing? How can I better manage my forest? How can I grow more grass in my pasture? These and many other questions can be answered by the Beaver County Conservation District. The district provides free technical assistance to farmers and landowners. They support all types of agriculture operations, everything from an urban farm to a dairy operation to a forest landowner. Horse operations and vegetable operations are also supported. The district supports agriculture operations and the development of agricultural erosion and sedimentation, as well as manure management and nutrient management plans to meet state requirements. The Conservation District is a tool in your toolbox to improve your operation. All technical assistance is provided free. Contact the Conservation District to get started. Visit their website or call them at 724-378-1701.
Everyone's looking forward to the Beaver County boom, but there's one boom that no one likes to hear. It's the one coming from your heating or air conditioning unit. When things just aren't sounding right or working right, call McGee's, and you'll see just how efficient a company can be. McGee Heating and Air Conditioning has been serving Beaver County since 1965. Family owned and family operated, you can trust McGee. McGee is happy to help sponsor the Beaver County boom. McGee Heating and Air Conditioning, Main Street, Aliquippa. Call 724-375-5181 for repair or a free estimate today.
Beaver County Radio's news source, 95.7 and 99.3 FM, along with 1230 WBVP, 1460 WMBA, and streaming at beavercountyradio.com. Here's Frank Sparks.
And good morning. As today's forecast is calling for cloudy skies today. High's going to be up to 74 degrees. We'll have a complete Beaver County Radio weather forecast coming up right after we have this look at news. Ambridge police are in search of new officers to join their force. Beaver County Radio News correspondent Sandy Giordano has more.
Beginning today, applications for police officers through the Borough Civil Service Commission are available. Applicants can apply for police officer or school resource officer, according to Chief John DeLuca. Applicants may obtain an application packet at the police department from 8 a.m. to 4 p.m. Monday through Friday. Deadline for applications is Friday, July 2nd at 3 p.m. Testing fee for the police officer applicants is $50. This is Sandy Giordano reporting for Beaver County Radio.
The Centers for Disease Control and Prevention gave the green light for infants, toddlers, and preschoolers to receive the COVID-19 vaccine. Advisors to the CDC recommended the vaccines for the littlest children, and the final sign-off came hours later on Saturday from Dr. Rochelle Walensky, the agency's director. Pfizer's vaccine for kids younger than 5 is 1/10 of the adult dose. 3 shots are needed, the first 2 given 3 weeks apart and the last at least 2 months later. Moderna's is 2 shots, each a quarter of its adult dose, given about 4 weeks apart for kids under 6. The first shipments will be available to the public starting tomorrow after today's federal holiday. The fate of the Democratic Party is intertwined in a pair of Pennsylvania elections that will be closely watched this year. John Fetterman could help the party keep control of the U.S. Senate. Josh Shapiro faces a Republican rival for governor who has embraced conspiracies about the last presidential election. With the stakes so high, Fetterman and Shapiro are participating in a coordinated campaign funded and run by party organizations. But they've already facing big challenges. Fetterman suffered a stroke last month and hasn't returned to the campaign trail. And both candidates will be running in a difficult environment for Democrats weighed down by inflation and President Joe Biden's unpopularity. A man has been convicted in the kidnapping and slaying almost a decade ago of a co-worker whose bones were found buried in his eastern Pennsylvania yard. A Monroe County judge on Friday convicted 55-year-old Michael Horvath of criminal homicide, kidnapping, evidence tampering, and abuse of a corpse in the 2013 killing of 41-year-old Holly Grimm. He was acquitted on an obstruction count. Grimm was last seen in Lehigh County's Lower Magungie Township in November of 2013. She and Horvath had worked together at a company that makes church organs, authorities said. Horvath's attorney called the case circumstantial. Sentencing is scheduled for September the 8th. After 2 days of deliberations, jurors in a civil trial deciding on sexual abuse allegations against Bill Cosby will have to start from scratch today. By the end of Friday, jurors had decided on nearly all questions put before them, including whether Cosby had sexually assaulted plaintiff Judith Huth at the Playboy Mansion in 1975, when she was just 16 years old. Los Angeles County Judge Craig Carlin, who had promised one juror she could depart after Friday, wanted to accept the partial verdict, but courthouse closure rules left him no choice but to close down. Jurors will begin again with an alternate today. Philippine officials are mourning a government attorney fatally shot in Philadelphia and called for the perpetrator to be brought to justice. Police said that John Albert Lalo and his mother were heading to the airport early Saturday when someone in a black car fired into their Uber at a red light near the University of Pennsylvania. Lalo was pronounced dead at the hospital on Sunday. Consul General Elmer Cato said that Lalo's mother was slightly injured by glass fragments. No one has been arrested, and authorities did not disclose a suspected motive. Lalo's mother posted to Facebook that they have been traveling and were supposed to go home together. Philadelphia and other large U.S. cities are experiencing a surge in gun violence.
Here's the The Beaver County Forecast on 95.7 and 99.3 FM, along with 1230 WBVP, 1460 WMBA, and streaming at beavercountyradio.com.
Slight chance of morning showers will give way to cloudy skies today with a high of 74 degrees. Overnight tonight, cloudy, low down to 60. Tomorrow, sunny and hot, highs up to 93 degrees. Then for Wednesday, afternoon showers and thunderstorms. Some could be severe. It's going to be mostly sunny and hot. High's going to be up to 94 degrees. Thursday will be a little cooler with mostly sunny skies and a high of 84, but we're right back up on Friday with sunny skies and a high of 89 degrees. That is a look at the news for now. I'm Frank Sparks, Beaver County Radio News, 95.7 and 99.3 FM, presented by St. Barnabas, 1230 WBVP, 1460 WMBA, and beavercountyradio.com.
Your community, your radio stations, originating from the St. Barnabas Control Studio in Beaver County, 1230 WBVP Beaver Falls and 1460 WMBA Ambridge.
I'm talking to Donny Donut. That's not his given name, and it might not be. We're going to get into that. Sean Duguay is my guest, and it's the Donny Donut Project, and it's cops versus robbers, and there's boxing, and there's music, and okay, let's walk through the weekend coming up, because my friends at the Ambridge Police Department have been roped, and I say that, they've been roped into this. How did you do that? Because, well, I mean, it's been my experience with law enforcement, and you've had more extensive experience than me, but it's been my experience, if you walk up and you ask a cop, hey, you want to fight somebody, they usually don't.
That actually wasn't my plan.
What was the
boxing
plan?
Was not my idea.
Okay.
Last August, the Beaver County Indians with Don Wayne Curtin, the owner of that team, and myself, we partnered up and hosted a Stop the Violence Summer Jam basketball tournament at the basketball courts there by the police station.
Yeah.
And at that time, I had issued a challenge to all law enforcement across Beaver County and the state of Pennsylvania to do better together. My initial idea was to do like a best 2 out of 3 competition. And
you'd have 3v3 or 5?
No, it would be 3 events, 3 different events.
Oh, okay.
But and my thing was dodgeball. I wanted to play dodgeball, and we had some officers on board, and I got to sit down with Chief DeLuca, and he accepted my challenge on behalf of Ambridge PD, and it took up until here about a month and a half ago. Sergeant Glenn Sovich reached out to me and said, hey, let's do boxing. I'm like, I've never boxed, but okay, let's go. I'm for it. Let's do it.
Okay, so it was the police that said, let's do boxing. Let's do it right. Explain what it is. You've got, it's going on all weekend. What's the live draft? That's Thursday, July 28th, and that's where the name could be changed?
Yes. On Thursday night, we're going to have our roster of all the matches that are going to be fought.
Okay, and it's not all police officers.
No. Okay. There's police officers, there's a few productive felons, and there are community leaders that believe in the mission and want to see change, and they want to help me reach 300. Well, my mission has gone up because there's now 338 million people in the U.S., so I gained an additional, 9 million?
9 million.
Yeah. So Thursday night, we're going to be doing a draft at about 7:30 p.m.
Are there going to be weight classes, or is it like luck of the draw?
No, we're gonna have some of the matches are going to be done under USA Boxing.
Okay.
And then we have some grudge matches that we're gonna have like an open spar session, 3 1-minute rounds, and Officer Fan, Anthony Fan, the resource officer from middle school.
I know Officer Fan.
He challenged me to a boxing match.
I don't know, man. He's wiry.
I know. I peeped him in the gym a couple of times. I go over, being I'm a felon and all.
Yeah.
I went over looking in the window, just seeing what he's working with. And then this past Saturday, I actually sparred for the first time ever with Jeff Snyder, who is another fella who is a community leader. He lives in Big Beaver.
Okay.
And he's like, okay, let's go. And
what did your brain tell you the first time you got smacked when you were sparring?
My brain said, "What are you doing?"
Okay, all right. So there was a voice of reason somewhere, but it was all right?
It was all right. It was great. I was gassed, I'll tell you that. I thought my cardio was good being that I row and I do the boot camp out in Cranberry.
Right.
But I got more work to do.
Well, you got more work to do, but we're talking about 2 weeks. Can you get the work in 2 weeks?
I've lost, in the last 10 days, I went from 241.3 pounds to 227.4 pounds.
Okay. The draft is July 28th.
Yes.
July 29th, there's live music. Where is it going to be?
It's going to be at the Wright Automotive Fieldhouse in Ambridge.
Okay, next to the football stadium at the high school.
Yep.
All right. Who's playing? Do you know yet?
We have DJ Jam Master Jason, the son of Jam Master Jay from Run DMC.
Right.
And his cousin, Bo Skaggs, who is from New York. He now resides here in Ambridge as well. He's going to be performing. He actually has written a few Christian albums the last couple of years, and we are in the process right now of finalizing the contract to have Bubba Sparks, who was one of my favorite artists.
The Bubba Sparks.
The Bubba Sparks from down south. He got me through some of my hardest times whenever I was locked up. You know, his one song, Deliverance,
mm-hmm.
It really hit me different.
After being locked up, you mean?
During my incarceration.
During
the incarceration. Then whenever I come home, it's like, wow. And then back at the beginning of April, I had a fella reach out to me to accept a challenge from a friend of mine, Lucky Chucky, Charles Hanacki from Chicago, Illinois, who's also a productive felon. He's done a lot of time. He did like 13 years or something like that in the state of Illinois. He's coming into box Prince Michael Curtis, also known as Nashvillean, who got into a scrap in the middle of the street down in Nashville last September with Adam Calhoun. And they are going to get together and box 3 2-minute rounds in hopes that Adam will take on the winner of that match.
You're just great. You're beaming. What other than your family has meant this much to you in your life?
Being honest with myself, taking accountability, being responsible, and being respectful. Those are the 3 rules in our house we live by. RAR. Responsibility, accountability, respectable.
How would your life have been different had you grown up with those rules? Because you mentioned earlier you were told as a kid, you ain't going to amount to much.
I don't know.
You don't know?
I don't know. And honestly, I try not to go back there because the path that I took growing up has made me who's sitting here with you today.
You feel like you were supposed to take that path to get to this place.
That was my path to get to where I'm at now. That was God's plan for me.
What is your path from this day forward? Well, no, I take it back. From now to the end of the month, you're losing weight.
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
My goal is to get down to about 215. So I got about another 12 pounds to go, and I know I'm going to be able to do it.
All right. What's your plan after that?
After that, we're going to go through this event, and we're already working on our next one that we're going to wait until after this event's over to announce that one. But the next one is going to benefit the fire departments and EMTs across the county.
When you go and you speak, because there has to be a first conversation. When you go, you mentioned Chief DeLuca.
Yes, sir.
I think you would understand there might be some hesitancy. Who is this guy?
There was.
He's got a productive felon shirt on. I don't know quite what to make of that. And it's entirely possible the law enforcement official you're speaking to already knows you.
Correct.
Yeah. How is that barrier able to be broken?
Through God, man. You miss 100% of the shots you don't take. And you're in life, you're going to get more no's than you ever get yeses. But it's the determination and dedication to show that the impossible is possible. That's my hashtag, TIIP. the impossible is possible.
All right. For people that are interested in the event, there's a myriad ways to find out more about it. If they just search the Donny Project,
Donny Donut Project.
Donny Donut Project, all the information they need. And you said earlier there's professional wrestling on Sunday, and that's for the first time in umpteen years that Beaver County's had professional wrestling.
And it will be turning with a monthly show.
Really?
Yes, sir.
Where are you getting the wrestlers?
They come from all over. We have guys coming from New York. We have guys coming from Indiana, Ohio, Maryland, Eastern Pennsylvania. They're coming from all over. And it's an honor to be able to bring something that I know Beaver County was passionate about years ago. Dom DiNucci, rest in peace, great man. I only had the pleasure to meet him twice, but Dom knows his stuff, and he even said himself, they need to bring wrestling back to Beaver County. So,
Why did it go away?
I don't know. That was gone. I've only been in Beaver County since February of 2013.
Okay.
I came here after I got out of prison in October. I came here initially working in the oil field, and I was here 27 days out of the month, and I went to George's Barbershop in Beaver and met Mark Eichler. Mark cut my hair, and the conversation we had, it was so pleasant that he was directing me to different places to go and check out in the area, and I was like, you know what? I like this area, so I went back and packed up my stuff that was at my nephew's house, and I come out here and I stayed at the hotel until I ended up getting an apartment.
Okay. So you were living the life of a journeyman construction worker.
Yes, sir.
Out of a duffel bag. Where did you grow up?
I grew up in Huntington, PA.
Okay.
Well, my youth, I grew up there. Between there, at 15, I moved to Lycoming County.
Okay.
I was there for 2 years and then went back to Huntington. And I was back in Huntington for about 3 years. In March 19th of 2000, I was in a car accident that killed me.
Okay.
And
obvious question. It seems you got better.
Yeah. Well, they had to re-jump me. My insides actually filled up with blood and fluid. I had collapsed my lung. I got T-boned by a minivan, and
it might be the worst way to go.
I had 2 passengers with me.
Right.
And she hit the passenger side. They both spent one night in the hospital, and that was right after I had enlisted into the Army. I had gotten back from the MEPS from my swearing in.
Right.
And I guess that just wasn't my path that I was supposed to take.
No, the minivan kept you from military service, it sounds
47 broken bones.
Oh.
Fractured my neck, my lower back. I had 2 ribs.
You want to wrestle people.
I've already done it. I've had one match. I was in a battle royal.
Okay.
I don't care what anybody says. Nobody will ever take that from me. I went over the top rope and hit the floor.
Did your body not just sound like literally a box of dominoes hitting the ground?
No.
No?
No. Well, I was told by the doctors that I would be in a wheelchair by the time I was 40. I'm 41, and I'm still kicking it.
Yeah, you're What would you be doing if you didn't find the Donny Donut Project?
I don't know.
I
probably wouldn't be here.
Yeah?
I honestly, I don't. I probably would have took my life that day, and that set me on the path that I'm on now.
How scary was it? I want to back up just a second. At the beginning, you told the story about running out of gas and being despondent and getting a ride. How startling was it that your brain could switch that quickly? It had to be the brightest light ever in your head.
As you saw, you just said here not too long ago that I'm beaming.
Yeah.
That's the light coming off of me. The Donny Donut Project is a beacon of light and hope for our country.
You don't think you're biting off more than you can chew?
Absolutely not.
You 338 million. We can't agree in this country right now on anything, Donny.
I understand that, and at the same time, I might not. One thing I do might make this amount of people smile, and somebody might frown about it. But something I do a little bit later might make that person that frowned give me a smile. there's 300 and almost 339 million different personalities that I got to figure out. And I'm up to that challenge because the impossible is possible.
Are you an example of the impossible being possible?
Exactly.
Okay.
I am.
So 339 million people doesn't strike you. That's not daunting to you.
No, sir.
Has there ever been a question? Has there ever been a moment where you go, these are all really good ideas, but dang it, we're swimming uphill. You mentioned earlier when you go and talk to people, sometimes there is resistance. Sometimes, and I know this without even talking to you, the minute people find out that you're a felon, that switch can go off in some people's minds.
I actually had that happen my first year at Christmas. I wanted to help with the families that needed Christmas. And I had ended up getting a list from a gentleman to help a certain amount of families. And when it came time to distribute and give those things to them, they couldn't take them. They refused because of my background, my record from 15, 20 years ago.
What did they think? You stole the stuff?
That's exactly it. I'm like, I have the receipts. I'm not taking this stuff back. And when I talked to this gentleman on the phone, he told me, unfortunately, Sean, no matter how much good you do, society will never see you as anything more than your past. And that deflated me.
Mm-hmm.
And I hung up, and immediately I puffed right back up. I called Jared, and I told him what happened. He said, you've got the war room. The war room is the media room up at Premier, where we hold our Bible studies on Friday morning at 6 a.m. And I reached out to Rico and Peter Jackson, who has...
Rico Elmore,
yes, sir.
Right.
And Peter Jackson from Top Shine Cleaning here in Beaver Falls.
Mm-hmm.
And the four of us come together, and we went from helping 7 families for Christmas to helping 47 families that we provided Christmas food for, as well as more than enough presents for the children.
So in a weird way, being told you're always going to be remembered for your past, created a Christmas or at least a future for 47 families?
Yep.
Is that the kind of way you have to look at it?
That's what I have to do.
Yeah.
I'm going to, like I said, I'm very persistent. I have to be. I have to stay determined, and I have to stay on focus. This past Christmas, we actually lost our house 2 weeks before Christmas here in New Brighton.
Oof.
And we spent 3 months in a hotel. It was my wife, myself, my wife's oldest son and our daughter, and my mom, who I now take care of. We're in a hotel. 2 of my sons stayed with my mother-in-law, and 2 of my sons stayed with my sister-in-law from December 11th until March 1st. Nobody in Beaver County would rent to us because we didn't have a credit score of 650.
Okay.
And rent was $1,200 a month. We're paying $3,000 a month to stay in a hotel.
Right.
We can afford $1,200 a month, but nobody would rent because of the credit score and the cracker plant. And it's like, okay. And then we met with our current property owner, landlord,
mm-hmm.
Who took a chance. That's how I live my life. The 3 C's. You have to take a chance, make a choice to take a chance, and make a change.
And I bet you've been the best tenant that guy has ever had.
I try.
Yeah.
My family, we try. My kids are respectable, respectful.
You work harder for somebody that goes out on a limb for you.
Yep, you do. And we're raising money for, in this event, the boxing event, we're raising money for the K-9 unit. Officer Riker, who was just re-sworn in. Well, he was just sworn in.
That's the dog, right?
Yes, sir.
That's what I thought.
He was sworn in last Thursday. He came from, he is the partner to Officer Kimmel. Officer Kimmel worked in Allegheny County for a department for 5 years. And he left there and took a corporate job. And he missed the job that he loved, which was being in law enforcement. And he came to Ambridge. And after working there for a year, Chief DeLuca felt that this was a way to reintroduce the K-9 program because their old K-9 had passed away Halloween of 2019. So Officer Riker come out of retirement with Officer Kimmel and was resworn in on Thursday, and I went down to the station Friday, and I fed Officer Riker his first donut. My arm in the sleeve.
Okay. I thought 47 Broken Bones Wrestling was goofy. You let a police dog seize you.
Yes, I did.
Control you, I think, is what they say.
Well, I don't know how much control there was, but there was definitely, he definitely had a good grip.
And the money raised is going to help start the K-9 unit back up in Ambridge, correct?
Yes, sir.
All right. Is there anything that you wanted me to ask you that I didn't ask you? I've been talking about the Donny Donut project with Donny Donut, also known as Sean Duguay. Is there anything I should have asked you that I didn't? Can't believe you let a dog chew on you.
Hey, we're coming up with a doggy donut. Oh, yeah.
You know this as well as I know this. People will spend more money on their pets than they will on themselves.
Hey.
That's a fundraiser big time.
It absolutely is. And the name Donny Donut actually, when I first started doing this, I went over to Mac's Donut Shop in Aliquippa.
Yeah.
And it was after we got the first stimulus check. We took care of our bills, and I told my wife I was going to Mac's. I didn't know what I was going to do, nothing. So I stood there in my bow tie and suspenders.
Okay.
And as the customers come in, they went up and they placed their order. And when they went to pay, the ladies would tell them that their donuts were on me. And I would step up and I would hand them a card and say, and a bracelet, and I would say, your donuts are on me today. Just make somebody else's day smile. Put a smile on somebody else's face. And I did that for about an hour and a half, and the bill came out to about $600.
It's a lot of donuts.
When we got the next stimulus, we did the same thing. I went back over, and it was this time Miss Twyla come out and asked me why I was doing what I was doing, and I shared with her that somebody has to do something, and this is my way. So what I would do is I would go in, I would get 10 dozen of glazed donuts, and they would individually bag them, and I set up over here at Foodland in New Brighton, and as people would come in or go out, they would give me a smile, I would give them a donut and a bracelet.
Do me a huge favor. 1, keep doing what you're doing. 2, anything you need, you'll get in touch with us.
Absolutely.
All right, it's the Donny Donut Project. This is being live Facebook stream, so that means you will, if you didn't get to hear all of it, you can go back and listen to it on the podcast. Thank you for being here, man.
Thank you for having me.
Anytime. That was so much more uplifting than what the next hour is going to be about.
It's Magical Monday. Stay tuned. There might be a Donny Corn running around here in Beaver Falls.
Heads up for that.
Make plans to attend Beaver County Boom and make Beaver County Radio a part of your evening celebration on June 25th. Turn up the volume and gaze to the skies because the special choreographed pyrotechnic score set to flames in the heavens will create an experience unlike any other. It's all happening Saturday, June 25th. The Presley Ridge live broadcast on Beaver County Radio starts with on-site coverage in Bridgewater at 6, followed by choreographed music on the radio and the enormous fireworks display starting at 9:45. Broadcast sponsors include the Beaver Falls Municipal Authority, Tom Sites Demolition, Electric Garage Door Sales, the Hopewell Shopping Center, Fried Transportation, City Rescue Mission, the Beaver County Transit Authority, McGee Heating and Air Conditioning, Junction Auto Service, and Beaver County Radio, 1230 WBVP, 1460 WMBA, 99.3 FM, and 95.7 FM. Summer is here, and that means the grill is open at Al's Corner in Koppel. Al's is your place for fresh off the grill hamburgers and hot dogs. You can get a fresh third-pound cheeseburger for $3.99 and a 2/4-pound patty double cheeseburger for $5.99. All burgers and all beef hot dogs are on fresh baked buns from Al's. Add in a free drink with a burger or all beef hot dog and pay $1 additional for a side of fries, and it's the hottest lunch in town. Al's also has daily specials and cool summer treats, making it truly the hot spot for lunch or dinner this summer. Are you planning a picnic and don't want to cook? Well, Al's Corner has you covered there too. Al's Corner is open 7 days a week from 5 a.m. to 11 p.m. Follow Al's Corner on Facebook for their daily specials. Al's Corner is located at the corner of Route 18 and 351 in Koppel.
Beaver County Radio, 95.7 and 99.3 FM, along with 1230 WBVP and 1460 WMBA. You're listening to 95.7 FM, 99.3 FM, presented by St. Barnabas, in addition to 1230 WBVP Beaver Falls and 1460 WMBA Ambridge.
From townhall.com. I'm Rich Thomason. Surging demand, staff shortages, and the weather. Factors the airlines blame for what has proven to be a very challenging season for air travel. FlightAware reports more than 4,200 flight delays and close to 900 cancellations yesterday alone. The summer travel season barely underway. More hearings slated this week before the Democrat-controlled House